So we got an iPad 4 here that came in, and if I zoom in you can see number one, there's a cracked glass, and also by this pressure mark you can see that the battery underneath is actually expanding, so we're going to be replacing that. So let me get my heat gun. Why is my heat gun off? Oh. There you go. I think this also has a tempered glass screen protector on top. There you go. Ah, it's focusing on the heat gun. I think this is one we've done before, so the adhesive is going to be really solid. And there you go. Yeah. Yeah.
I've been just in the network rail question and answer site, yeah?
Mhm.
And how long will it take to process my application, yeah?
Mhm.
And it says here we aim to process all applications within 28 days of receipt. Now you do realize that the last application had to be taken off, so I need to have a look now.
Yeah.
And then consent, when they give you consent, you have 6 months to complete your work, or to do stuff in there, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then that's it. And if you haven't done anything in 6 months, then they restore the application again.
What happened then?
What
Lights. Something changed here.
Well, you would know, I didn't realize that. Okay, let me check this. On the 9th of
There you go.
7th.
So I'm just taking. So this is one I think we've done this before. This does look like our adhesive. So our adhesive is super solid. So I can see now that the LCD is being pushed up a bit by the battery, but we knew that before. So I'm wondering if I flip the image, maybe it's better. Somehow. Can I rotate this? Transform. Rotate 180 degrees. That would work if the camera was perfectly overhead. That's actually a brilliant solution. I'm going to make sure next time, maybe, the camera's overhead in the next few days. Because that makes much more sense. Here. Look at the live stream.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, what about it?
Well, it makes more sense that way, doesn't it? That's rotated. Because that's how I'm looking at it as well. So,
How
see?
did you have it before?
Well, before it was this way, because that's what the camera's pointing at. But so my hands are over here, it's pointing towards
Yeah,
me.
it's actually better than to point at you that way. Yeah, that's right.
Which way?
The other way.
The other way, yeah. If it's perfectly overhead,
One.
yeah. If it's perfectly overhead, which it will be when I have an extension for this, then it's gonna be like I see it from the top. So right now it's a bit of a weird angle, but yeah, it's good. Cool. So I like to just cut the digitizer because it's already broken anyway. It doesn't make a difference. It's easy to take out then. And now we buy the digitizers blank, so I can add my own adhesive because the custom adhesive that we use, or the method that we use to adhere it, is much better than anything. We never had lifting issues with custom adhesive. Unless it was obviously expanding battery like this. Yeah, there we go. This cell right here, that is super inflated. Let's see if I can bring that up on video. That's like really expanded. So let me take the rest out. iPhone 8 Plus.
You don't do them yet, do you?
No.
Why?
Because the parts are really expensive. I can't be asked to stock something that we won't use. At least our parts.
Original parts.
Yep. And I'm not interested in the cheap garbage, so... So some people find these challenging to remove. If the battery's broken, then it doesn't matter. You can just rip it out, and I'll show you how to do that properly. It's actually using this tool I used for getting the glass up. It's really nice and thin. It's really flexible, and you just dunk it in alcohol and you scrape underneath the battery, pry it up. Right, so what I like to do first is get rid of all the adhesive on the side. Not perfectly yet, but I'll do the actual polishing. So we actually make sure we take everything off. So the glue, we take it off perfectly, like completely off with chemicals. So isopropyl alcohol in our case. So this is a sharpened metal so I sharpened the end of it, and that's how I take the rough adhesive off. So like that. So you can see here that it's coming off really nicely. I mean, we could just put it on top, but I want to be precise with that because with this method we've never had comebacks on glass lifting. Only when it was pre-applied adhesive. That's overexposed again. So you can see here, just run across the edge. It cuts like butter. See, and that's all that adhesive off there. Someone's calling me. Decline.
Story of your life. Okay. I'm gonna put this on our Facebook page as well, yeah?
Yeah. So like I said, we're going to polish this off with alcohol afterwards. It's not focusing properly. There you go.
iPhone 6 is plus 65, isn't it?
Yeah. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to start removing the battery. So like I said, alcohol. Well, actually I have to remove the main board first before I start this. Make sure this is clean, by the way. I mean, this is okay, I guess. If it's too much, it won't go in between, so... So take out the logic board first. And it's probably best not to stick them here on the battery because the battery is being removed. I want to use these afterwards. That can go in a bin. Let me adjust the exposure again. I need to set this camera up properly. Yeah, you can bend that, that's fine. And now we remove the battery. Need to be really careful when cutting in here because of the flex. So we get a decent amount of alcohol on there. And then start here. Now, if you don't need to reuse this, you can just snap it off. There we are. First set out. Obviously, if you need to reuse it, that's a different story. And be careful not to cut into the battery. Second cell out. I keep on putting alcohol on this. Third cell out. There we are. So now, like I did before, I use my sharpened metal spudger to remove the excess glue. So this is pretty quick, and you don't need to use any alcohol in this. That's fine, it sticks really well without that. So now, grab my new battery. There we go. Make sure it's properly shaped. Make sure there's no dents in it. So this is the new battery. And now I can just install it. Don't take the tape off the bottom yet. Line it up. Make sure it doesn't go over this little mount for the motherboard, otherwise it won't fit. And then remove the back and you have it all aligned. And just make sure it's correct. Push it down and that's it. Now I can remove the top. And there we go, we got a brand new battery in there now. So now we need to make sure it's all aligning properly. And it is. So before plugging everything in, I want to make sure the battery is a bit isolated with my isolation pick. Gonna put a couple of screws in. There we are. So now what we want to do is we want to polish this is where what most people skip, polishing the edge. What I like to use is lint-free nail wipes. You can get these on Amazon, so they don't leave a mess on the side. So you just want to polish it until you see the bare metal, pretty much. Until no more glue is left. I know this is tedious, but that's how we never get lifting screens. One of the reasons. I'll show you the other thing we do as well. There we are. More space now. Someone once told me that their iPad repairs take about 15 minutes. Well, this is why ours don't.
What's happening? You get a iPad 6 Plus in. They had it. He had it done in. I'm not saying the name. I'm just saying the place, the town. He had it done in Nestle, iPhone 6s Plus.
Yeah.
And he said the phone was in mint condition when it went there. And picked it up, and the screen goes on and off, on and off. And
Yeah.
it's got a shady. It gets shady as well.
I know what it is.
What is it?
Basically, there's a cable that gets pinched, one of the flex cables, and it goes like half backlight, and sometimes it goes off completely
Plus
because
it
it's shorting against the backplate.
Plus, it didn't put the 2 button screws in as well.
Oh dear.
I said to him, "Oh my!" I said, "Did you get warranty for that?" And he said, "No, they refused to give me warranty. Now it's been sitting there forever." So he paid £125 for it.
What?
For Christmas, yes.
Wow.
And he asked me, he said, could that be cheap screens and so forth? I said, could be anything really.
Yep.
But to be honest, I said most places do use bottom of the barrel screens.
Yep.
That's to make maximum profit, you know.
So, what we want to do now is, this is our secret weapon. This is a primer. So this will make the tape that we're putting on there even more stickier. So it's called Primer 94 by 3M. This is what they use for vinyl wrapping around edges and stuff like that. So it sticks better. So we're going to use this, and we're going to apply it with a cotton bud, which I don't have any. Could you pass me cotton bud?
Where am I finding them now? Which one? This one?
No, next, yeah.
That one?
So nice Johnson's cotton buds will do. So I experimented with different ways of applying it, and I was going like, I was getting like these pens and stuff like that you'd squash the ends of it, and the primer would come out. But they're a nightmare. They clog up after a while. I tried so many of them. This is the easiest way. So just take it straight out of the can. So you just dunk it in there and go all over the frame, wait until it dries, and then you can apply your adhesive. And you do it on the screen side as well. And this will hold really well. So if you have lifting screen issues, this is your solution. Polish the frame completely, add primer, and add your own adhesive, which I will get to in a minute. So that's done. I'll still leave the cotton bud here because I'll need it for the screen. And there we are. So, adhesive, red tape, simple as that. You can get this anywhere, but there are fakes out there. This is the legit stuff. I believe red tape is made by 3M. I could be wrong though. But if you find a seller that sells the good stuff, they're pretty cheap anyway, so I don't know why fakes exist if they're cheap enough anyway. So I don't know which width this is. I think this is 5mm. This is specific for this edge. But I use different sizes for different edges. So now I like to use the bigger one, which is I think this might be 8mm.
Hello, Secure Repair. How can I help? Unfortunately, we only do Apple devices, I'm afraid. Sorry about that. Sorry. Bye-bye.
There we are. Same for the bottom, leave a gap for the home button. And this is where I use a 5mm one. Wish I had better scissors. there we go. That's really neat, and it, you know, there's no gaps really. The entire iPad will be completely sealed off. That's why the screen was really difficult to lift. Looks like the camera's upside down. It's flipped. This is the correct way up, I would say, wouldn't you?
What?
My father said, it looks like the camera's upside down.
I think it's the right way to do it because
Yeah.
it's your point of view.
Yeah, but it's gonna be overhead a bit more, so there's gonna be an extension. So now I'm gonna get the screen.
winter is coming.
Yeah, but it's nothing to do with that light.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it's getting more darker outside, so we have to be relying more on artificial light. Maybe this should be coming from the side. The one you have above. Or have it more over you.
Yeah. This doesn't do anything.
Put the light more over you.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just as bad.
No, it's just as bad, yeah. That is better. And to be honest, that is better. Is it?
Yeah, it is. Oh, that's crap. That's rubbish. Actually, do you know what would fix it?
What?
If that camera's overhead, because that camera is looking there and it's reflecting anything that's like here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
if that camera was completely overhead, then yeah, if that camera was completely overhead, then it would only reflect what is it was directly over it.
Do you want me to turn the light back on or?
Yeah, on.
Yeah, but it will shine again.
Yeah, nothing I can do about it now.
Yeah, we can't really turn it off because you get it home. It's all a matter of setting it up properly, I think.
So just align the home button with that. And then look at it, see if it's straight. Test the clickiness as well. See if it's flush. That's perfect. Yeah, connected the home button. I already got rid of this tape, so it's easier. Actually, I don't usually do that on the iPad 4. And actually, here's one thing I do that I add with the iPad 4 is I add a little bit of tape underneath the flex here. It's easier to tuck in then. So it keeps the flex in one place. So now when I press it down, now it actually tucks in underneath here. So the flex here has to tuck in a bit. It'll fold nicely then when you put the screen down. Here's the LCD, we'll connect that. So now, before we do anything in terms of putting it back together, we test it. There we are. Yeah, lighting situation is horrible here. It looks really bad. So I'm gonna take the adhesive strips off, ready for putting the screen down after I tested it. And we mustn't forget this plate, otherwise there's gonna be an air gap there and it's gonna be easy to crack the screen. So that keeps pressure under the screen. So it's like one surface there. So let's see. Home button works. Just gonna see now if the touchscreen works. The only really way to test it in terms of swipes and stuff, you have to test vertical and horizontal swipes. Is looking at the text at the unlock screen, because this is not running a later version of iOS where you can move the entire lock screen. There we are. So that's the vertical swipes. The way the touchscreen works is got sensors vertically and horizontally. If you can swipe from one side to the other, then you know that all vertical stripes or vertical sensors are working. You only really need to test one axis to figure out if all the sensors on that axis work. And then the other one to test is if I tilt this iPad sideways and I swipe from left to right and I can reach the end, that's fine. We know that the entire touchscreen works then. So the last thing left is to put the screen down. Make sure it's nice and clean. That's perfect, so let's have a look. And that is absolutely perfect. So make sure it's nice and tucked in on the flex side. And honestly, with these, you don't even need clamps or any pressure on it. This will be perfect because of the custom adhesive that we use. So that's the battery and screen replacement done. If you want us to do this repair, visit simplyrepair.uk, and we'll be launching a repair parts supplier website soon for the UK as well. So if you want to buy any of these parts in future, I'll put a link in the description once it's online. And that's all.